Hi, everyone. Welcome to this story that I'm so excited to share with you all about the new logo for our parent company of Immigrant Finance, which is called International Empowerment. And I'm here today with Monse Castro-Padgett, who is our amazing, talented designer who has created the logo, and she's going to be sharing the story of it with us today. So welcome, Monse. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Dina? Thank you for the invitation. I'm really excited to share more about the story of this logo and all of the process of creating it.
Thank you for your willingness to share it. I can't wait. It's quite a story. Do you want to introduce a little bit about kind of your design background and what all the marketing work that you've done?
Sure. Well, yes, I'm a marketer and also I like everything related to the graphic design because actually I have a degree at marketing, but my mom, my sister, and my husband are graphic designers. So I always been like surrounded about all of the graphic stuff. So and in the meanwhile, when I was studying my this career, I always have a preference with the creative stuff, like creating the brand identity, the all that was visual. So then when I graduated from college, I decided to specialize in all of that was related to social media content creation, and all of that involves like the graphic design part. So with my husband, we well, he created like a little agency, a small agency here in Honduras, and during the process of creating it, I've learned a lot of graphic design. And just to tell and share with you a fun fact, this is my very first logo
Really?
that I yeah that I start from zero, from the very beginning.
I
So
would have
this is
never
my
known.
yeah this is my very first logo. So it has been really really exciting.
Wow, that's so impressive. I mean, you're so talented. And for those of you who
Yeah.
haven't met Monse yet, she's actually been part of the Immigrant Finance team, and she's been creating all the beautiful designs and social media posts for our Spanish version of Immigrant Finance. And she's also been helping produce the podcast and playing a really important role in Immigrant Finance. So I'm so excited to introduce you all to her as part of the team as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah, it
everything
has
you're
been.
doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Adina, for for giving me this opportunity in immigrant finance and now in international empowerment. It's really, yeah, it's really great to share with you like these projects, and I really love to create all of this stuff on Spanish, and now
Yeah.
here it's another project, but it's really excited to share it with you.
Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to work with you. And I'm really looking forward to our listeners and our community hearing about this story and about your process of designing the logo, because we have a lot of people in our community who want to start online businesses or create some kind of business, and a logo is an important part of that. We could do a whole episode on like the importance of
Yeah.
logos in your business. I mean, one thing I'll say is don't feel like you have to have a logo to start, so this is the logo Monse just created is about 4 years after we started international empowerment. So we went that long without a logo, and we've been operating primarily under immigrant finance, which is part of international empowerment. We also had immigrant finance for a long time with just a basic logo we had made on Canva. Turns out though, you can't trademark a logo from Canva. That's like a template. So that was our first experience creating a logo. And we worked with the amazing designer May Perez, who is actually a former student of immigrant finance school, and she did an amazing job. And so, yeah, I'm going to start off with the story of why we created a logo for international empowerment. It's kind of crazy. And then we'll jump into what that process was. And Monse will share some of her creative process with us. And maybe if you have tips for other people thinking about creating a logo, what that could look like. But yeah, but do you want to share anything else before I jump into the story? Any context you think would be helpful for people?
Well, I think just to give a little bit more context, it's important to to share that it happened like it wasn't planned. It was just like during a conversation we were having about an Instagram issue. Yeah, so it wasn't planned, but I think everything happens for a reason, and I think this was a positive thing that that happened after a problem. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Definitely. Which is a big part of business, right?
yeah.
Yes. Because you and your husband have your own business.
Mhm.
There's a lot of challenges. Like, it's not easy, and a lot of it is not knowing what the right answer is and sort of
Yeah.
going with your intuition and navigating, and then, correcting if you need to make adjustments. So yeah, so what happened was, in, I think it was September, Mao and
Mhm.
I had done a podcast episode on this I think it was about the importance of not having your business just on Instagram. So what happens, we had gone on a trip to Mexico, and our Instagram got disabled, and we're still not sure why. We think it was some kind of security thing with the algorithm, because we were logging in from another country, from Mexico, and another person on our team was logging in from El Salvador. And so I'm just guessing that must have raised some security flag, having people in multiple countries. I don't know. Or it was just meant to be so that we could have this logo created. But
Yeah.
no, we had this account that a lot of people in our community had, participated in. We had a wonderful community. It was had been slowly growing for about 4 years. It was about 1,600 followers or so. And yeah, it got disabled. We still haven't been able to get it open, but yeah, listen to that episode to hear the story of how that happened, and like how that was kind of meant to be. But meanwhile, before this happened, I had been having for almost a year this kind of nagging feeling that it was time to start growing international empowerment. And to give you some context, so Immigrant Finance, Mao and I started in January 2018. And as you all know, Immigrant Finance is focused on immigrant families and empowering immigrant families with their finances. And that is primarily have been our focus. But when we created the LLC for that work, which is basically the legal formation for a company in the U.S., but one type is called a LLC. It stands for Limited Liability Company. We had made a broader name, um, really because of my mom. So we were going to make the name Immigrant Finance. And my mom was kind of like, you don't know what direction this is going to go in. You may want to have something a little broader that gives you flexibility, which is actually great business advice, and something I tell our business coaching students now, to have a LLC name that will give you that ability to grow. And Mao and I are both very international people. And actually, we found out both Monse and Mao speak
Yeah.
French, Spanish, and English, right? So you two are a lot more international than me, but both Mao and I have lived in multiple countries and spent a lot of our 20s living abroad and traveling abroad. Mao had done his master's in Spain. He lived in Belgium. He lived in Vienna.
Wow.
He's lived in Alaska, New Jersey, doing different things. I lived in Egypt for a year. I lived in Ecuador, where I met him. I've lived in the UK. So we've always been very internationally focused. We both have a background in human rights work and international development, international relations. We both studied that in college. And so we've always been very connected to the international community. Many of our best friends are people who live in various countries and also feel that way. So yeah, I to this day I'm still not really sure what direction international empowerment is going to go in, but I had this kind of nagging feeling the past year that there's something there we want to start paying attention to. Meanwhile, we had started also in the past year our second program. So our main signature program is Immigrant Finance School, which is focused on managing money, investing, and online business development, increasing income for immigrant families. But I also started a more higher level business coaching program, which has been many graduates of that first program who have started businesses or want to start businesses. And that's been absolutely amazing. I love doing the business coaching work. I love helping people figure out their purpose and finding a way to help others. That can be through a business where they can also have more financial stability while doing that and have a way to build more wealth for their families. So it turns out that the business coaching work, it's not that specific to whether or not you're an immigrant. It's more about you being a human,
Yeah.
right? The main point is when it comes to immigrant families is you don't need to have a work permit or certain immigration status to have a business. There are those limitations when it comes to working as an employee. But that's why having a business is such a source of freedom, I think, for immigrant families, because you don't have those legal issues, and it is legal for immigrants, regardless of their status, to have businesses. So that's the main thing. But everything else in the business coaching applies to anybody, right? Once you understand that. So yeah, it's becoming more clear that I kind of wanted to move that more under international empowerment. And then the Instagram thing happened, and how that's related is it just caused us to reevaluate things and pause for a second. And that's when I reached out to Monse, and I'm like, Monse, we need to have a meeting, a strategy meeting. I don't know what to do. We have to start over Immigrant Finance on Instagram. That's where most of our community have been. We're starting totally over. At the same time, do you remember, like, was I like, we should start the Instagram for international empowerment too? I don't even remember how that came up.
Yeah, I think you created the account of International Empowerment before we had this meeting.
Okay.
But I think there wasn't content, or you didn't know what to put into the International Empowerment profile.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was part of the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had this great meeting where you just kind of understood, I think, my blabbering about,
Yeah.
oh, we're doing all these things and the business stuff is more related to international empowerment and I want to move it over and we have to start over. And
Yeah.
it was a little overwhelming. You were very, very helpful. So when I came to with kind of that mess, what sort of was your thought process? Because you were very like organized and methodical about what to do next.
Well, that thank God I was like that, because no, I could see that you were overwhelmed, and it's totally understandable, because yeah, it was a situation that it wasn't expected. And also it was like, as you told, you had the community in immigrant finance in the old immigrant finance profile, so it was like, now what, because we have to start again and all of that. So no, yeah, well, you when you told me about the international empowerment idea that you had, um, I thought that it was a good idea, and I'm still thinking that it could be really helpful for everyone that want to start a business, or anything. So I thought that it would be a great idea to have both profiles, like immigrant finance and international empowerment. And I think I could understand that the idea that you had, because like the difference between immigrant finance and international empowerment. So while you were telling me all the ideas and all of that you wanted to create with international empowerment, in my head my head was running, my mind was running, and I started like thinking of on all the stuff we could create. And Yeah, well, I don't want to jump into the into the
No, go
creative
for it. Go for it.
if you haven't finished. So yeah, if you want to continue.
In terms of what the logo would be. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, just a little more before we get there. So a couple things I was thinking about that I just want to share all this because it's part of the story and want our community to know why we're doing this. You know, one reason I feel very strongly about having the International Empowerment Platform too is I don't believe we should have to define immigrants by their legal status or lack of legal status.
Hmm.
So, like, yes, immigrant finance is focused on the unique needs of immigrant families when it comes to finances and business, but also, like, we can have this larger brand too that is not defined by that. And it doesn't matter where you live or what your status is. And so that was the original inspiration for the name International Empowerment when we named our company that LLC. The other piece of it too is the main way we teach increasing income is by starting an online business specifically.
Hmm.
And online business by nature is international. It is across borders, right?
Hmm.
That's the amazing thing with the internet and online business. Like it, you can do so much, so many incredible things and connect with people around the world, and you can build new things that solve problems that don't exist now through the internet, through technology. um, I could go on and on about why I think online business is so amazing, but it's very empowering, not only for you and your family financially because of all the benefits that online business offer and how easy it is to start a business online when you don't need the startup costs and all that, but also in terms of lifting up other people through your business and helping and having a mission-based business. So that's the type of online business we teach, is mission-based, where you want to do something that's going to solve problems, going to help people, that's based on your purpose. And
Yeah.
for me, that's like very magical, all of that. So that was one of the first things I said to Monse. I don't
Yeah.
know what the logo should be, but I want it to feel magical.
Mhm.
Um, and also, where was I going with this? I don't know. Well, I guess I'll turn it over to you. So, how did you go from me coming to you with this problem to we should make a logo?
Yeah, well, as you were telling me the all of that you're telling right now, I it came to my mind like, do you have a logo? And you told me no, we don't have a logo. And oh, it's important. It's important to have a logo. So yeah, so when you start telling me that you want it to be like magical, it came to my mind the stars. That we will see later, but yeah, so yeah, a lot of of my imagination start running with all of that and all the stuff we could create. So because I understood what you wanted to do, like to make it global, to make it without
Mhm.
limits, and I love what you're saying about the online business, that it doesn't have barriers, it doesn't have like um yeah, frontiers. So yeah, I wanted to put it into the logo so people, when they see the logo of international empowerment, they think about uh, like also a little bit of freedom as you're telling me,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you don't depend on anything or anyone else than you. So this is
Yeah.
something like I really love about the online business, is that you can be your own boss and you can have a little bit more of freedom in managing your time, for example, and being with your family. That this is other problem that I could um, I could I can imagine that immigrant families have, to overwork and doesn't spend a lot of time with their families. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I really like this idea of having your online business and the capacity of being international, of being
Mhm.
global, and um, to uh, to get closer to other people that maybe are in the same situation, but you can create like an impact on them, and to invite out other people to do the same thing, and to feel this freedom that having your online business can bring you.
Absolutely. And you're actually such a great example of that and like us working together because we
Yeah.
met on the internet. We're in
Mhm.
different countries. I'm in the US, you're in Honduras,
Yeah.
right? We have another member on our team in El Salvador, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't matter because of the
Mhm.
internet. It's so cool. And the fact, you're able to do work and have design more your lifestyle, I imagine, than if you were at like a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah. In an office.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it's also really important for the people in our community who do worry about having to leave the US, or if what would happen if they ever had to go back to their home country, or if they choose to. A lot of the people in our community, their parents are planning to retire back in their home country and go back. So that's another reason online business is so great, is you can bring that with you. It doesn't matter where you go. You
Yeah.
just need your internet and your passwords.
And yeah. Or your cell phone. Even
Your
your
cell
cell
phone
phone.
even.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a client right now who's starting a business on her phone. She doesn't have a computer. She's starting a dog walking business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But one more thing I want to mention, then let's dive into the actual logo design.
Okay.
But I was thinking of it with like the magical stuff. So one of the reasons I didn't freak out too much when our Instagram got disabled, or at least didn't let myself, was I'm like I very much believe in signs and kind of like the universe, kind of directing you, all that. If anybody hasn't read it, my favorite book ever is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Have
Mhm.
you read it by any chance?
Yeah.
You have?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that book, like was very formative for me early in life, and it talks about following the science and all that. So when the Instagram got disabled, I talked about this in the episode more in it, but I had basically just made a huge commitment, like a personal commitment at that moment, and then right after the Instagram got disabled, and I had written this commitment on a piece of paper and like threw it in a fire, all this stuff. I was doing this program at the time that was it was assignment, and I just knew that it was a sign. The timing was too coincidental, so
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this is happening, and it was really helpful to talk to you and just process it. Of like, I already wanted anyway to build out international empowerment, and now's the opportunity because we're starting over anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's just mix it all up.
Yeah. No, it was yeah, the perfect timing, as you said. And
Yeah.
all of like your trip, everything has fallen into the right moment. Yeah. So
Yes.
the right place. Yeah.
Yes. It tends to happen when we go on trips that things like
Oh
that
yeah.
happen. Yes. I was telling you before we started, we've been looking for a new house for a
Yeah.
year, and we just finally found it when we went on a trip this weekend. Something about like getting out of your environment.
Uh,
Anyway, anyway, so the logo design. So tell us what you were thinking of next after you started thinking about the stars.
Yeah, well, yeah, the first thing that I was thinking before doing the logo was the stars. That I said to myself, well, the stars has to be on the logo. So this was like the main idea. So first I created like just the international empowerment words with some stars, but then I realized that we need like more a more visual and attractive logo that could work with the social media content or anything that you want to do with it, like if you want to print, to have some paper with the logo and all of that. So then I thought about the idea of making it a little bit more um, global, or yeah, to put the idea of international in the logo. So with that didn't that it the idea with not just the word international, but with the image, with the visual stuff, with the graphic stuff. So then I thought about the earth, like like the globe. So that was the idea of using the circle. So so it gave the idea of global. Yeah. So then I made the circle, and it came to my mind the idea of making it international empowerment in a circle shape. And then I think you told me that you told me that you like the plants and the leaves, and so yeah, I included to the logo, and then we talked, and you asked me if we can use the immigrant finance leaves, and I think it was a great idea because um, the immigrant finance is uh, like the main brand, or like the first brand you have managed. So like as immigrant finance and international empowerment are related, I think that it was a great idea to use like some elements of immigrant finance logo to international empowerment. So yeah, I use the leaves of immigrant finance, but with a different shape. It's not the tree that we see in the immigrant finance logo, but is a plant with the immigrant finance leaves. So, and then yeah, then I put some stars in the logo, but I wasn't happy because it seems to me that the stars were just placed randomly with any purpose. I don't know, and I didn't like that. I wanted to be with a purpose, and to I wanted to look like the stars are there with some reason, not just randomly placed. So then it came to my mind to look for a constellation that could work with the logo. So because you told me, I think that you like the everything like space and stars and all of that. So it came to my mind to look for a constellation. So I start looking, and I start trying to put like the pictures of the constellations with the logo. Um, and the one that I liked the most was a Big Dipper constellation. And so yeah, yeah. So when I put it with the logo, I put the picture behind the logo, and when I place the stars with the Big Dipper constellation, I think it looked like it wasn't randomly placed. It was it looked yeah, a little bit more um, I don't know, like how to say it, a little bit more beautiful, but not just beautiful, but organized. I don't know, with a
Yeah.
purpose, So
Thoughtful.
yeah, so if
Intentional.
yeah, intentional. So if you see it, you can like visualize in your mind the constellation without the lines, but there's a form and the idea. So
Yeah.
I really like the final result, and also the colors. Well, first of all, when I create a logo, I do it in black and white, because if you see it in black and you like it, it would be more yeah, it would be more like sure that it will look great with colors. So when I finish it in black, I start trying some color palettes that we picked together, because we wanted to have like um, also magical colors, but
Yeah.
also but I wanted to include colors that are related with the earth too, to give it like this international feeling and
Yeah.
this global feeling. So that's why I choose some of the color palettes with greens, browns, but also with pink and some soft colors that give you the idea of international, but also like magical, and also this feeling of empowerment of
Yeah.
when you see the logo, you you feel that energy that you can
Yeah.
do everything,
It's very
and that
powerful.
you're yeah. So well, you choose the final color palette that I really like, and I think it works great with the brand. I'm excited for all of you to see all of the
Yeah.
brands. And so yeah, the final colors you will see are brown and like a green and blue. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the final result was pretty great, and we are all happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. That was such a good explanation of the story, and I really like how it evolved in some of the ways you
Yeah.
described. Like, we hadn't talked or thought about, I think, relating it to the Immigrant Finance logo, and it happened
Mhm.
organically with thinking about the leaves. Once you had put leaves, and I said, oh, it would be so nice if it was the leaves from Immigrant Finance, because our Immigrant Finance logo is a tree with roots.
Mhm.
And the idea of that is really when you're an immigrant or family member of an immigrant and you're wanting to improve your finances and doing that, you're building roots in this country. You're building first that stability through the roots, right? But then it's also more than that. It's also the growing, the growth, and that's the actually building wealth part, which is kind of what I view more as the leaves. And in
Mhm.
that logo, there's one little leaf that's a dollar sign. That was my best friend Amy came up with that. Who's I had several friends actually help, but two of my best friends who are both children of immigrants helped design the Immigrant Finance logo. I don't think I've said that
That's
anywhere, but
cool.
Amy is the child of Taiwanese immigrants, and she came up with that little dollar sign to just make that connection that's like about
Yeah.
finance.
Yeah.
And then one of my other best friends, Layla, who's the child of Lebanese immigrants, she really supported the tree. I always wanted a tree, and then I second guessed myself because a couple friends I spoke to said that people won't understand the tree, right? But they weren't part of immigrant families. So then when I talked to Layla, she was like, "Of course it makes sense that it's a tree. Like, are you kidding?"
Yeah.
You know, she just got it, and Mao said the same thing as an immigrant. He's like, "Yeah, that makes sense. Like, we're putting roots,
Yeah.
growing."
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, so it was really nice to incorporate the leaves and transition it over to international empowerment, where it's still that growth and that building wealth, but it's beyond that now.
Yeah.
It's also the stars. It's also going into
Mhm.
that like more magical place and the
Yeah.
universe and the stars of really growing into your potential and what you're meant to do. So I love
Yeah.
how it all comes together.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's like when you achieve your goals, and when you change your mindset, like when you think about that what you're capable to do, you can grow, and you can get into this light. I don't know,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's when the stars come to my mind. When you change your mindset and you start doing things that uh, you think you were not capable, but actually you are. So yeah, it's a mindset change too.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what we want so much for everyone in this community. We want to support you to build those roots, and
Mhm.
navigate past all the challenges and barriers that can come up when, if you based on immigration status or based on what your family has not been able to teach you or whatever it is, the barriers, to navigate through that and get to that point where you're building the leaves and then reaching
Mhm.
for the stars.
Yeah.
It
Beautiful.
sounds cheesy. It sounds cheesy,
Right.
but I really mean it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I think we all need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add about the process?
Well, I think all logos are very important for any brand, any business, because the logo is
I think you just froze, Monse. I don't know if it's just on my end or not. Oh, okay, she's coming back online. There we go. Hey.
Sorry, sorry,
Okay.
we had an issue.
It's all good.
Okay, so I was telling you that the logo is a very important part for any business or any brand, because and the image people receive about your it can be your products, your services, or anything. So it's important to take the time to create it, and if you need like any help with that, you can look for a graphic designer or anything that can help you, because it's important to give people the right message you want to give with your brand. So it's important to take the time until you get where you want to be, where you wanted the logo to be, and when you think that, oh, that's to people to see about me, about my brand, that's the message to send the logo. Well, you're ready to publish it and to start doing whatever you want to
Yeah,
with your brand. Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks for sharing that advice for people. So that's really helpful. Is there anything else you would want to give people advice on, or other ways? Please let folks know how they could potentially work with you if they're looking for help with the logo and connect and all that.
Well, you can email me, or you can look for our agency that's called Valiant Music Studio. We're based in Honduras, but as Adina told you, we work with international people, so we can work together. My email is Padgett at .com, and you can contact me by there. My Instagram page is Monse Castro-97, so you can look for me right there, and we can. I would be pleased to help you, and I know that my team, because agency is not just about marketing and graphic design. I have some people and some coding people that can help you with anything. So we really pleased to help you with anything that you need.
That's amazing. And I can't highly recommend enough working with Monse and her team. She's so incredibly talented, very professional. So anyone will be very lucky to have the opportunity to get to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you really much.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think that's all for me, for my part. I don't know if you want to tell anyone else.
Just to thank you so much. I'm so happy about the logo. Mao and I absolutely love it. It feels perfect, exactly what we were hoping for and more. And I just hope it kicks off, international empowerment in a great way, and that we're able to help support a lot of people through this and help support others in starting their online businesses. And can't wait to be able to see what comes out of all of it.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. All the process has been um, huge challenge I'm really happy with the process and the results. So thank you very much for trusting me in this.
Thank you, Monse. Take care.
Have a nice
Bye.
day. Bye.